Welcome to Meet the Candidates, the local election forum from Pioneer PBS. This season, we asked every candidate the same list of questions to learn more about what type of legislator they will be if elected. In this episode, we will meet candidates from Minnesota House District 15B. District lines have changed since the 2020 census. District 15B is made up of Redwood, Brown, and Blue Earth counties. Major cities include New Ulm, Redwood Falls, and Sleepy Eye. To find out which district you live in, visit mnvotes.org. And now, let's meet the candidates. We will start with DFL candidate Tom Custer.
I'm a retired college teacher who entered this race because your current representative was about to run unopposed, and I believe in democracy. I think you deserve a choice at the ballot box. In fact, I think the Brown and Redwood County residents and voters deserve a better representative than they currently have. In order to clarify your choice, we need to look at your current representative's record. He's run for many years in what's considered a safe Republican district. That means he really doesn't have to do anything to earn your vote except put an R behind his name. And because of that, I think he's developed a legislative style that I would call wait and let things happen. We saw that with Highway 14. It took way too long. We're seeing that now with broadband. Even through COVID, when the kids had to study from home, and even now, Brown and Redwood counties rank in the bottom fourth, the bottom 20 of 87 Minnesota counties in broadband presentation. I think you're not well served by a representative that waits and lets things happen. I intend to be a representative that acts and makes things happen. That's the choice I have to offer you in this election. And then there's the elephant in the room. We'll talk about a lot of issues today, but none of them will matter much if in 2025 we don't have a democracy anymore. I hope before you vote you'll want to know more about me, and you'll check out my bedrock principles and what they mean at my website. That's tom4rep.net, tom4rep.net.
Why do you want to be the representative for your district?
I want to represent you in Redwood and Brown counties because I know there are problems here that need to be addressed that are not being addressed by your current representative. You know the many things that the legislature could be dealing with that would make your lives better. I've looked at the record and I don't see any indication that your current representatives are doing anything or even thinking about these problems. Things like these, I have a list: breaking the meat locker bottleneck, curbing consolidation of suppliers and markets, helping with fall fertilizer costs, managing the risk for bird and animal diseases, dealing with stray voltage on dairy farms, making child care affordable, providing affordable housing to help with the worker shortage, dealing with the local fentanyl crisis, fixing the crisis in nursing homes. We're losing nursing homes in our district. Shortages of social workers, shortages of teachers, of school staff, law enforcement officers, meat packers, farm workers. I'm afraid this list could go on. Issues that you're dealing with that are being ignored by your current representatives. Now you might think, can one new lawmaker go up to St. Paul and deal with all these problems? Well, if that lawmaker is a wait and let things happen representative, then none of them will be dealt with. But if you elect instead a act and make things happen representative, well, I look forward to getting together with you and seeing what we can accomplish.
What are your priorities for the next legislative session?
I have several priorities, but the first one affects them all. It's legislative reform. We're all tired of legislation that doesn't get done. that legislators are not getting their work done. Last year, they needed a special session. The year before that, they needed, 7 special sessions? And this year, again, they're talking about needing another one. They've left the Capitol with a lot of things that we need now just sitting there. Things like eliminating the tax on Social Security, crime-fighting money, school mental health programs. School has started already. Elder care, projects that will just be more expensive next year, rebate checks in your pockets. These are all just left sitting there. We need them now. There are ways to reform the legislature and the legislative process so that it gets its work done. My other priorities include local economic development. That means, first of all, boosting the farm economy. Our communities prosper when farmers have fair and competitive markets. It means getting infrastructure out there, affordable housing, broadband, child care, measures to solve the labor shortage. My third priority is social services. They touch the families of our district most closely. And that's another area I want to pay close attention to. Legislative reform, economic development, social services, those would be my top priorities.
What unique perspective do you bring to the Minnesota House?
I bring the perspective and the skill and experience of an effective advocate. And this too gives you a choice in this election. Since I'm from a rural district, some people say, well, we should send a farmer to St. Paul. We have good farmers in our district, but if you go to the Capitol, you won't find much farming going on there. What you find going on there is advocacy. I'll be the first to admit that I won't ever know as much about farming as you people, you men and women who have been out there doing it all your lives. Just as I won't know as much about running a plant as Jeff Eberson over at Cousy Group, for example. I won't know as much about running a small business as those heroic people that brought their small businesses through the pandemic. They're true heroes. But my job as a legislator is not to know more than you. My job is to represent you and to advocate for you and for your interests, the things that make your life better, and that I'm experienced and good at. Advocacy means, first of all, listening to you, and I know how to listen with my ears and with my head and with my heart. After I listen to you and learn what you need to make your life better, we can work together on developing policy proposals, a case in favor, a good, well, fact-founded case in favor of the policies that will help you in your lives. And then we'll work together to create a coalition of people to make your case stronger, and we'll present it effectively and strongly in the places where decision-making is done. That's how things get done, and that's the service and the experience, the skill that I offer you. I have recognition on the local and community and the state level for my advocacy, for advocacy, and that's the experience and skill that I can offer you as your legislator.
What is your vision for the future of Minnesota?
Minnesota is already a wonderful state. Our economy, our lifestyle, our scenic beauty, especially our people, you people, we're the envy of all the states all around us. And the first part of my vision is to build on all of that. But I'd like to focus right now more narrowly on a vision, our vision for our area, Brown and Redwood counties. Could you envision your farm in 5 or 10 years ago as a place that's prospering and a place that you can easily pass on to your children? Can you envision your small town flourishing and sparkling? Can you picture your community as a place where your kids won't want to leave, or if they do leave for a while, they'll want to come back? Let's talk, for example, about what Highway 14 to the border might mean. After 40 years of trying, we finally got Highway 14 4-lane to New Ulm. Thanks to the efforts of Governor Walz, who comes from this area, and neighboring Representative Jeff Brand, who should be elected again, and the hardworking New Ulm Highway 14 Coalition. That got done, and now I hear people saying, wow, hooray for us, that's all we need. Well, I'm wondering if there aren't people living west of New Ulm who need roads, who need transportation for their businesses and for their farms. We have a lot of tourism sites there, local museums. We have the Little House and the Sod House. I think this is a place where if you build it, they will come. People will come from the east and the west if we have good transportation, Highway 14, 4-lane to the border, serving our area. Exercise vision. Imagine what Highway 14 to the border can do for our communities, for our farms, and for our agritourism.
And now, a closing statement.
My friend, I think you deserve a better representative than the one you have now. Look at the votes and see if they really represent you. Back at the height of COVID, he voted against the COVID recovery bill that provided small business emergency loans, broadband to support distance learning and telemedicine, and personal care assistance during the pandemic. He voted no. In the same session, he voted against paid leave for family emergencies, for pregnancy and serious medical conditions. He voted against legislation that would save lives from gun deaths. He voted against a bill that would provide behavioral health care, elder care, and child protection. He voted no on the ag bill that provided drought relief, grants for farmers, grants to new farmers, soil health, broadband, and much more. He voted against an energy conservation bill that would especially have helped low-income individuals. And every year, the Health and Human Services bill comes up that provides for child protection, foster care, behavioral health, disability services, elder care, mental health services. And every year, your current representative votes against all those things. Do those votes represent you? It's time Brown and Redwood counties have a representative that really represents you. Not one that just votes no and then waits and lets things happen, but one that acts and makes things happen to help our farms and communities prosper and make your life better. I look forward to being an advocate for you, someone who gets together with you and gets things done.
You can find more information online about Tom Custer at his website, tomforrep.net. Next, the Republican candidate, Paul Torkelson.
Well, good evening. My name is Paul Torkelson, running for state representative in District 15B. I've running for my 8th consecutive term in the Minnesota legislature. I'm the endorsed Republican candidate, been elected 7 times before, and looking forward to another election come November 8th. Just like to remind everyone listening to be sure they vote by November 8th. Many of the constituents in my district have the opportunity to vote by mail. You'll start receiving mail-in ballots in mailboxes will start arriving September 23rd, and you have up until Election Day to get those filled out. I've spent my entire working career as a farmer. I still farm actively on my farm in Watonwan County, where I'm a 4th-generation farmer, so agriculture is certainly important to me and my livelihood. I support a number of issues in my work. First, safety and security. Second, agriculture and the rural way of life. I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I believe in fair funding for rural schools. Minnesota businesses are, of course, a priority. I've been endorsed by the NFIB, and finally, I'm a pro-life legislator endorsed by MCCL. Look forward to the questions as they come up this evening.
Why do you want to be the representative for your district?
Well, I'm a strong believer in our American government, the system that has worked so well for us over these centuries and done so well as we are the world leaders in many respects. And you bring that back down to the state of Minnesota. Of course, Minnesota has had a major contribution to the success of America. We have a strong state government that I've been able to take a part in the last few years. And it actually has worked pretty well. We have our differences, of course, but we do have ways of working those out, passing laws that take care of our citizens and their needs and move our economy forward. My constituents have been very helpful in that work. I get a lot of communications from constituents in the form of emails and phone calls, and my work is enhanced by that information. It's important to know what's going on in your district as a legislator, and it's important that the citizens of the district step forward with their concerns so that we can address them in a way that actually benefits our districts. Now, we are state representatives, of course, so we do represent the whole state, but we do have a special interest in the area that we're elected from. And I've been fortunate to have a good fit with my district and my constituents, and I've enjoyed representing them over these many years.
What are your priorities for the next legislative session?
Well, in a word, I think the priority of this session is going to be safety. We've seen a lot of crime, and it's been building, and this is a real concern. It's not as bad, of course, in our part of the state as in other parts of the state, but it has a way of filtering out, and we've seen examples of that. So public safety is certainly going to be a priority. I am endorsed by the Minnesota Police Officers Association and enjoy that support. Secondly, inflation has reared its ugly head again. You know, I've been in business on the farm for many decades. Actually, I remember when inflation was a real problem. It's becoming a problem again. Hopefully that will be able to be tamped down so that it's not so much of a problem. But right now, people are paying a lot more for gasoline and groceries, and it especially is hard on those that are on a fixed income. Next, I think it's really important that we invest in our infrastructure, both roads, bridges, wastewater treatment systems, drinking water systems. Much of our infrastructure, especially the infrastructure that's underground, is aging out, needs to be replaced, and it's very expensive work. And it's important that we at the state legislature recognize that and help our rural communities with the funds they need to get that work done. And I would support getting a bonding bill done in the near future to help with that work. In addition to that, broadband is a high priority. We need broadband all across the state. Child care has been a real problem, helping make sure we have child care available for families across the state is important, workforce housing, and finally, technical education to fill some of these work vacancies that we have. Making sure our technical education system gets people prepared for the jobs that are available is also a critical investment.
What unique perspective do you bring to the Minnesota House?
Well, I mentioned the fact that I'm a farmer. There are very few farmers in the legislature these days. If you look back over history, there were lots of farmers in the legislature. I'm one of a handful of active farmers. I think that really does bring an important perspective to the legislature, and it's really important for my district, which is heavy in agriculture and the businesses that serve agriculture. Second, I do a lot of work with water. I serve on a number of committees that deal with water, including there's a legislative bipartisan group that works with water issues. I also serve on the Great Lakes Commission, dealing with all the states that touch on the Great Lakes, along with Canadian provinces. Water and water quality is a concern for all of us, and doing the practical work that can make improvements along those lines is something that I do have a lot of expertise in. Infrastructure, I mentioned earlier, infrastructure is very important. I served as chair of the bonding committee a few years ago, so I understand what it takes to get state investment in infrastructure like our roads, bridges, and water systems. Transportation is a very big issue. Roads and bridges and mass transit are all important issues for serving the public, and they're the sort of work that only government can do. Private parties aren't going to build their own roads and freeways or transportation systems, and so getting investments made in transportation is important. Healthcare, I've got some experience. I was on my local hospital board for a number of years, so I understand what it takes to keep rural healthcare functioning. And finally, financial issues. This will be a budget year. I did serve on a bank board for a number of years, and doing the work that makes the numbers come out in the end is critical. So finance and financing state government is something I'm very interested in and feel like I have some important experience in working on.
What is your vision for the future of Minnesota?
Well, thank you. Security, I mentioned earlier, and security, I think, is so critically important. People need to feel safe anywhere in the state. They need to feel safe when they're riding our transit systems. And so that security of just knowing that you and your property are safe wherever you go is important and one of the critical issues. In order to achieve that, I think we need to make sure that criminals are held accountable when they commit crimes, so there have to be consequences. One of those issues is drug abuse. We need to reclassify fentanyl so it's properly classified, so when somebody is caught distributing and selling fentanyl, they are properly prosecuted. And finally, in that regard, the issue of THC came up this last session. Those products are now available, but they're not regulated properly and they are not taxed, and we should do both of those things. We need to do everything we can to rein in inflation, at the same time reform our taxes. There's been a strong effort to eliminate taxation on Social Security benefits. I believe that's something we must try to do. In the area of education, there's been some controversy lately. I'm a strong believer that locally elected school boards should have a stronger voice in how our schools are operated. They come from the community, they're elected by the community, and they should be allowed to do their job. Finally, election security is an important issue. I'm a strong proponent of voter ID. I think that knowing that when you go vote that you are who you say you are and you live where you say you live is important. And along with that, I do support the use of provisional ballots in our election system to make sure that our election system is as secure as possible.
And now, a closing statement.
Well, thank you. I want to thank Pioneer Public Television for the invitation to speak to you tonight, and also for the opportunity. Pioneer Public TV has done a great job, I think, communicating with the citizens of Minnesota through this kind of work, through the presentation of our sessions and committee meetings when we're in session, and finally with the program Your Legislators, which is taped and aired during the legislative session, where legislators from both parties have a chance to answer your questions, and I encourage you to tune in. I want to thank the viewers for taking part, and I want to thank my constituents for the support I've had over these years in the legislature. We've had quite an experience with COVID at the legislature. It really changed the way we operate. I'm hoping we can get back to a new normal where we use technology, but we don't overuse technology. There's nothing quite like a face-to-face meeting to make sure that we communicate effectively. I have some priorities. They are to rein in wasteful spending, to reduce taxation, and to protect our liberties, and finally to fight for the rights of the unborn and the elderly. I'm the kind of person who works to unite, not to divide. I work across the aisle when I can. And finally, I want to ask for your vote. This election cycle, the cycle of course ends on Election Day, November 8th. Many of you have an opportunity to vote by mail before then, and either way, make sure you do cast your ballot and take part in our great democracy. Thanks to all of you, God bless you, and have a good, safe fall.
You can find more information online about Paul Torkelson at his website, ptorkelson.com. Learn more about voting, how to register, and what district you live in by visiting the Minnesota Secretary of State website at mnvotes.org. Remember, Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th. Thank you for watching Meet the Candidates on Pioneer PBS.